In this video, we're going to talk about 3 things to keep in mind if you're nervous or apprehensive or fearful before giving a presentation. Now, I recognize that for some people, speaking comes more easily than for other people. Whether you're standing in front of a camera or standing in front of an audience, for some people it's easy, or at least it seems easy. And sometimes for you, it might be a situation where you think to yourself, why is it that it's not so easy for me? Well, I want to give you 3 things to keep in mind before you do your presentation that are going to make the moment of that presentation flow more easily and feel more comfortable. Now, I recognize standing in front of an audience is a point of nervousness for a lot of people. And you know what? It is for me too. And I've been doing this my entire life. When I first learned how to perform and present, I was told that the day that I no longer care is the day that I'm not going to feel nervous before a presentation. Think about that for a second. The day that I no longer feel nervous or worried before a presentation is the day I was actually told that I should quit because I no longer care about what I have to say. Oftentimes, when we feel nervous before a presentation, it's because the presentation matters to us and we really want to do a good job. Other reasons that people are afraid before a performance, you're afraid of being judged. What happens if I make a mistake? Or maybe you don't feel that you know the material well enough and you're going to stand up and make a fool out of yourself. Well, let's work on those things with 3 approaches that you can take. The first is preparation. It's so important to prepare. And you can tell because I paused after I said so important to prepare. I'm trying to let you know that it's really, really important. People think they're going to stand up and they're going to wing it. There's very few of us that can do that. People think that they're going to stand up with very limited presentation or preparation and the presentation will go okay. You know what? It might. But let's make sure of that. Let's do our best to make sure of that. Let's put our proverbial ducks in a row and make sure that when we get in front of the audience that we've got as much going for us as we possibly can. Preparation is a way to do that. So how can we prepare for a presentation? First and foremost, know what you're going to be speaking about. Have the topic clear. And when you have the topic clear and you start to prepare your comments or your remarks or prepare your presentation, I want you to keep in mind that preparation in terms of not only writing the words, but thinking about a rehearsal process is important. When I say preparation, we're not just writing the words of the speech, we're talking about preparing for the moment of giving that speech or that talk, whatever it might be. It might be in a classroom, it might be in a boardroom, whatever it might be. One of the most important things you can do is to rehearse. It sounds so simple. And rehearsal doesn't mean you go through every motion and you figure out exactly how you want to say every line. What I would recommend is this. Sure, it's possible to memorize a presentation, but what's more important is that you get comfortable with the words and the ideas. So let's say you have a presentation that you have not memorized, okay? And in fact, you know what? I'll get this out of the way. If you have memorized it, run it again and again and again and again until it's just ingrained into you and you can say the lines naturally. For most people, you're not going to have it memorized. So with that in mind, I want you to have bullet points in your mind about your presentation. I want you to break it down this way. I want you to have an introduction or an opening where you greet the audience, tell them that you genuinely are happy to be here. Not just, it's really great to be here, but you really mean it. Maybe you share an anecdote about the moment, about the drive into the presentation, or what it feels like to stand in front of the class, whatever it might be. Something really brief. It doesn't have to be an involved story, although it can be. Your point is that you want to calm yourself down, connect with the audience, and share. It doesn't have to be a laugh riot of a story. It doesn't have to have a punchline. You wait for the big laugh before you start your speech. It could just be a point of connection. You know, I'm excited to do this video today. I'm a little nervous about this video today. Whatever it might be, something like that. It could just be a slice of you, something that's genuine and real for the audience to connect with. A story, an anecdote, a feeling, a recognition of the moment. Think about your introduction. Then think about jumping into your presentation and giving however many points it is that you have to deliver, but break it down in your mind, bullet point it, so that when you get in front of the audience, you're not just thinking, oh my gosh, speech. You're thinking introduction. Then I want to make that first point. I want to support it with a second point. I want to close it out with a third point. I want to wrap it up and thank the audience for being here. Now, that's going to work for a 45-minute presentation, just as it is for a 5-minute presentation. And there's no hard and fast rule. You might find that an introduction and then storytelling to get your point across is more effective than thinking in bullet points. The point is, have a structure in mind that you can wrap your mind around, and then rehearse that structure. Get it up on its feet. In the theater, we say off the page and onto the stage. And what that means, you start out with a page of text, you read it again and again and again, you put it in your mind, and then you get it on its feet in front of an audience, or even before an audience, you just get it onto the stage, in front of an empty room even. That will give the words new life, and it'll connect you to the words. So with that in mind, off the page and onto the stage. Have your ideas in mind, meaning on the page, but then get them onto the proverbial stage. Rehearse, walk through it, say it out loud. Stand in front of an empty room and say, you know what, it's really great to be here today. I'm really happy to give this presentation because, and then fill in that blank with something that's real, and then launch into your ideas. Even if you're just blabbering your way through it at first, even if you don't know exactly what you want to say, I would consider recording yourself as well. Because the thing is, when we record ourselves, we're going to find new ground, new ideas, new lines, new words that we hadn't planned for, that we hadn't written when we started coming up with the speech. Off the page and onto the stage. Stand in front of an empty room, stand in front of a partner, stand in front of a parent, stand in front of a friend, stand in front of a mirror, stand in front of your dog. Communicate the words as if they really matter, as best you can do that, to the person who's listening. And be present, be in the moment. Don't try to be something that you're not. Just be grounded, communicate the idea. If you're giving a presentation on the American Revolution, tell what you can to the person who's listening. And if there's no one there, imagine a person who's listening. Oftentimes, I will do that. As I'm recording this video, I'm imagining you, literally imagining you listening to me and watching me right now. That helps me communicate more effectively than if I just sit in the reality of staring at a camera. The point is, when I imagine you, and really imagine you listening, it brings new life to the words. Do the same thing as you prepare. Think about those bullet points, get it off the page and onto the stage, and start working on preparation through rehearsal, through repetition of the ideas. Get them out loud, say them out loud, and then have them recorded so that you find new life in the words. Very important. But the more that you repeat, the more that you prepare, the better. Don't just run through it once. Run through it once a day. Run through it a couple times a day. Run through it a couple times a day for a week or 2 weeks if you have that. If you have that time, it's going to have an amazing effect. Imagine going to the gym once versus going to the gym each day for 2 weeks. You're going to feel it after 2 weeks. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel different. Same is true for your speech. We want you to feel better, good, and different about your speech. Okay, second, have intention behind your words. Don't just say words. Say words that have meaning. People want to connect. They are there to listen to you because you actually have something to say. They are giving you their time. They are giving you moments of their lives that they'll never get back. That isn't said to put pressure on you. It's said as an invitation to remember that when you have intention behind your words and you have something to share that's meaningful to you, or if you can find meaning in the thing that you've been tasked to speak about, the audience is going to appreciate it. You're going to be able to communicate more effectively. Imagine standing up if I said, okay, give speech 3 minutes long, go. And you say, speech about what? And I say, speech, give speech, go. You have 3 minutes. Hi, I'm Greg. It's nice out and I like my mom. I have no idea what I would say. What would you say? I don't know. But if I say, give a speech on your favorite Italian food for 3 minutes, go. Okay, that's a little easier. What if I say, give a speech and tell us how to make your favorite Italian dish? Okay, now we're getting more specific. So have intention behind your words, have clarity. That way, when you're preparing, when you're rehearsing, you're going to know what you're rehearsing and why. And when you're in front of the audience, if you lose track of what you want to say in a moment, you're going to have that intention behind you to drive the presentation. It's so important. Having that intention behind you to drive the presentation means the words you use are going to support the intention that you want to communicate. Rather than having no idea and just saying things, you're going to have a mission, and the words are going to support that mission. And this is true whether you're giving that presentation on the American Revolution or reporting on the budget for the previous year or hopes for goals for the next year. Have a clear intention. Maybe even write it down. Maybe even spend some time synthesizing what the intention is. Because that way, when you get in front of an audience, that clear intention can drive the words. That's going to be really helpful, especially with point number 3. We've talked about preparation, intention. Let's talk about connection. I want you to be sincere on stage. I want you to be vulnerable in front of the audience. That doesn't mean you walk out on stage and start weeping openly because you're so nervous to be there. No, you've prepared. You put in some time. You put in that 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it might be. You ran your speech a bunch of times. You're clear on your intention. That's going to get you past the point of breaking down in tears in front of the audience. I want you to connect with the audience. Now, people connect in different ways. One way is to look people in the eye, look through the room, look them in the eye. The other is to not look them in the eye. You know what? Sometimes when I've been really nervous for presentations and I look out at the audience, I look between people. If there's someone sitting here and someone sitting here, I look right there. Like not, I'm pointing at myself now, but imagine two faces here. Look in between them. And that way you're not looking people in the eye, but you're still looking out at the audience. I want you to connect with them though, and make them feel that you are present with them. Here's what's going to happen as a result. Yes, it feels a little more intimidating for you to connect with the audience when what you want to do is shrink back and hide. But when you connect with the audience and you get over that hurdle, the audience is going to be more welcoming and inviting with their energy. That's going to make you feel more comfortable. Think about that. It's ironic, right? You'd think that if you connected with the audience, you'd actually be in a situation where you felt more terrified because now I'm connected with them. It doesn't have to be that way. When you're in front of the audience and you connect with the audience, you're actually going to reap the benefits of that connection. The audience is going to feel more comfortable. You're going to feel more comfortable. And then if you've got clear intention for your words and you've prepared, preparation, intention, connection, you're going to find that your presentation goes better. So those are 3 things to keep in mind: preparation, intention, and connection. They're all going to lead to you having a more effective speech, a more effective presentation. But more so than that, they're going to make you feel more comfortable, less afraid, less anxious, less nervous, or speaking in front of an audience if you've prepared. It's so essential. And they're going to all help you, certainly if you've got your intention in mind, to feel more comfortable in front of that audience, because you're going to know what you're communicating and why. And then, of course, if you keep connection in mind as well, like I said, preparation, intention, connection, they're all going to lead to you having a greater connection with the audience, a more impactful speech, and you're going to be more happy along the way. You're going to be happier along the way as you prepare. You're going to be more happy the next time you give a speech, because you're going to remember, wow, that last time preparing really did make a difference. Having clear intention really made a difference. Having a connection with the audience really made a difference. The next time will be easier. Again, you know what? It's like going to the gym. I'm telling you, the first day you walk into the gym, you're like, what do I do here? Do something. Prepare a bit. Connect a bit. Have clear intention a bit. Preparation, intention, connection. Work on each of those things a bit or a lot, and I promise you will see results. You're going to make it through this, and I'm excited to hear how it goes. So thanks for watching. I look forward to communicating with you in the future, and I really look forward to hearing how your presentation goes.